Hi, folks. It's me, Chris, Global Tarot Circle. So glad that you're here. And I guess we're 1 minute away from starting. And so let me start with some shameless self-promotion while we're waiting for people to come into the room. I am back in my office after hurricane evacuation, and I'm happy to report that I think most of us in South Florida, not everyone, but most of us in South Florida did pretty well with the hurricane. So that's terrific. It is business as usual, including Global Tarot Circle. Hey, Neil, good to see you. Glad you're here. Glad I got a chance to see you and your family when I was in Connecticut. I see TK is here. I know you escaped the hurricane by going to DC. I'm glad you did well. Maya, good to see you. Nilsa, glad you're here. Okay, we got people coming into the room, and it is now officially 7 o'clock. So let's get started for reels. I was just doing some quick self-promotion. I wanted to remind people that our schedule is on as scheduled, no hurricane damage to my schedule. That means that if you're local, we are having our monthly Cards and Conversation Tarot meetup at Panera coming up in Palm City this Sunday, 4 p.m. Hope to see you there. I have a whole schedule of things this September. Go to my website or right here on my Facebook page to see what we got going on. We got a couple of different classes. Okay, I see lots of people coming into the room. Susan is here. Amy, Adina, Siobhan. So glad to see all of you. As people come in, I may not get a chance to greet everyone, but I can see you and I'm glad you're here. If you are watching in archive, either on Facebook or YouTube, we're glad you're here. Our day and time, it is Wednesday, September 4th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're watching it on a different day, then obviously we're not live, and that's why we're not reacting to your comments. It's not like we're rude or anything. Okay, hey, Siobhan says I got her name perfectly first try. Excellent. And you know, that's important to me. If I do mispronounce anyone's name, if I mispronounce your name, let me know how to say it. My name's Christiana, not Christine, not Christina. So I get it. I get it when you have a tough name. Okay, so we've got people here from all over the world. That's why we are Global Tarot Circle. For those of you who are here for the first time, here's what we're gonna do. Hey, my neighbor Julie, glad you made it through the storm. Peggy Lou, glad you're here. Becky, nice to see you. Okay, so, hey, Martha Vink, glad you're here. It was great to catch up with you when I was in Connecticut as well. Okay, so here's how this works. For the first half of our time together, we do what I like to call burning questions. A burning question is something that you would ask a room full of tarot readers. It might be a question about tarot, about a particular deck, a particular reading you did and didn't understand, a particular card and what it might mean. A burning question can also be a question for a tarot reading, something you want to know about yourself, about your life. Hey, Marion, all the way from Scotland, I think. I know you're on the other side of the ocean, and see, I'm so glad when you come because then we know we truly are a global circle. So thanks for being here. I know it's super, super late at night for you. Okay, so for readings, if you have a question, we are happy to answer your question. And those of you who are tarot readers, hey, Lynn from Ontario, Canada. How many countries do we have here today? I bet quite a few. Okay, so if you would like a reading, all you have to do is ask your question. Now, please don't double dip. One question. If you have another question, we do this pretty much once a month. I have to say we did skip August because I was traveling. My son graduated college, had a huge amount of stuff going on, but typically we meet once a month. So think of your question. We'll be happy to answer your question. Now, those of you here who are tarot readers, get your decks and get ready to read. Here's how it works. When someone asks a question, I'll start with it. I will pull one card and give my answer. Anyone else who would like to read, pull one card, give your answer. If you've asked a question, you'll hear my answer, and then you can read through the comments to get the rest of your reading. But that's what we're doing here. From all around the world, we are working together one card at a time in order to give you a full reading. Lots of fun. Okay. Knit Faster, what can't you get to open? If you're not seeing the video, then you're probably not hearing me speak to you. But if someone wants to say hi to Knit Faster for us and just say maybe reboot your computer or close down Facebook and open it up again. Okay, a couple of people here who were born on Wednesday. It is Wednesday. That's pretty cool. Okay, so here come the questions. We'll start with Leisha from Connecticut. Okay, will I advance at my current job? And by the way, if I miss your question, because things scroll by pretty quickly, go ahead and repeat it, and we'll try to get to everyone. Okay, if you'd like to read for Leisha, put his name. Leisha, the name of the card you got and your interpretation. What's going to happen with Leisha on his job? Will he get a better job? 9 of Wands. It's going to take some time. You're going to have to be patient. You're going to have to be prepared. Yes, it can happen, but it will take time. Okay, if you'd like to see what's going to happen for Leisha as far as moving forward in his career, again, put his name, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. For Julie, what's the energy around me moving to a completely new to me, home? What about Julie changing where she lives? What do you guys think? Okay, if you'd like to read for Julie, put her name, Julie, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Okay, the world reversed. I feel like it's something that could happen. It's not a bad idea. Remember that wherever you go, there you are. And maybe there's some more thought that needs to go into this. Okay, let's see what other people have to say. For Siobhan, what's in store for me in 2020? Okay, what do you see about 2020 for Siobhan? If you'd like to read for Siobhan, go ahead, put her name in, Siobhan. That's S-C-H-Y-V-O-N-N-E, Siobhan. Put her name, the name of the card, and your interpretation. What might Siobhan deal with or encounter in 2020? Ooh, 7 of Swords. Siobhan, 2020 is the year where you let go of things that don't serve you and move forward, learning to be more true to yourself. Okay, let's see. Linda Rogers is here. Glad you're here. Okay, Nilsa's question. Repeating my question here. What does the universe want me to know about my current relationship? And I'm thinking that it's the same relationship that we've talked about here before. It's so nice to see you again. So what do we got going on this month regarding Nilsa's relationship? The Tower reversed. Now, if you'd like to read for Nilsa, put her name, Nilsa, the name of the card, and your interpretation. So, Nilsa, I feel like you haven't blown it up yet, but you're thinking about it. I think you're questioning this relationship at this point. This does not say whether or not you should. It just says you're thinking about blowing this up at this point. That's what I think. Let's see what other people have to say. Okay, Kristen. I'm debating taking a job that requires my relocating. I'm curious what comes up. If you would like to read for Kristen, go ahead, pull a card, put her name, Kristen, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay, Kristen, taking a new job that requires a relocation. Now, this is interesting. You guys saw me shuffle. This is the second question about relocation. Julie asked about a new house. Kristen is asking about a job that requires relocation. And I got the same card, world reversed. And in this case, Kristen, I'm going to say be open to it. Be open to the possibility of that change. And I see David is reading for Siobhan. If I read for you, make sure you check and read the thread to get the rest of your readings. Okay, Linda. Linda shows up as Mike and Linda Bozaleski. Did I pronounce that correctly? My son just started college. What do you see him doing with a career in life? Glad to see you here. If you would like to read for Linda, go ahead and put her name, Linda, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. What do you see about her son's career? Ten of Swords. I feel like he's not sure yet. I know he just started. But with this card, I think he has a lot of thinking to do about what he wants in life. And he may overthink, and he may freak out, and he may be anxious. Now, another thing we could say about the Ten of Swords is it may be a card involving, it may be a career involving helping others, especially those going through difficult times. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay. Amy, glad you're here. When will I find another job? I'm not happy with my current. I'm assuming you're looking. Now, here's a teachable moment. When we talk about a when question, a timing question, take a look. You know, we all have different ways of doing timing. But sometimes it will come up, you know, it will happen when you do this, or it will happen when this other thing happens. So let's take a look and see. Okay. If you'd like to read for Amy, go ahead and put her name, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Her question is about finding another job. She's not happy with her current job. Two of Swords reversed. You know, that says to me that there's more that you need to do here, that you may need to figure out what you really want to do. You may need to change the way you're looking for a job. You may need to do something different than what you've been doing. You may need to even study something new. Okay, in answer to TK's question, I have no correlation between days of the week and tarot cards. If anyone else does, go ahead and share, but to my knowledge, I have no correlation there. Does anyone have a correlation between days of the week and particular tarot cards? I would love to hear about it, and TK would love to hear about it if you do. Now, there was someone else, I didn't see who it was, who has posted tarot for me. That's not a question. If you want to ask a question, ask a question. We'll be happy to answer it. Tarot for me is not a question. Okay, let's see. Linda Rogers. Will I get to my personal goal by Christmas? Okay, we don't know what her goal is. What can we tell her about getting to her goal by Christmas? Okay, if you'd like to answer her question, her name is Linda. Go ahead and put the name of the card you pulled and what you think, some advice or thoughts about Linda reaching her goal by Christmas. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. The Hermit. I would say if you really put your mind to it and stay focused on it, then yes, you will. Okay. Okay, Marion. Should I accept the offer to write a piece for a magazine? I'm of two minds about it. Okay, so, you know, and this is just having nothing to do with the cards. Unless it's some really weird magazine that you wouldn't want to be associated with, why the heck wouldn't you? And in fact, I want to know, go ahead and comment, Marion, why are you of two minds? Of course you should, but that's just me as a writer speaking to you. Let me actually do the reading. And if you'd like to read for Marion, her name is Marion. Go ahead and put her name, the name of the card, and your interpretation. Should she write a piece for the magazine? The Magician reversed. So this says to me that that you may be thinking you don't know enough about the subject matter, or that you don't know how to write it or how to say it. Remember that the Magician, of course, is about Mercury, is about communication, is about tools, skills, and abilities. It shows up reversed. I feel like if you've been asked to write it, then the magazine editors have more faith in you than you do, maybe? Okay. Let's see. Okay, and I see Julie reading Felicia. Julia Bonesteel, nice to see you here. Angie, nice to see you here. Question from my good friend Martha. Do I need a serious intervention for a friend in crisis, or will that friend work through it on their own? What a great question. Okay, if you'd like to read for Martha, her name is Martha, and I see lots of you here doing readings. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for sharing your skill, your time, your energy, making this truly a global tarot circle. And of course, if I read for you, make sure you scroll down and see what the other people who are reading for you have to say. Okay, if you'd like to read for Martha, she wants to know, should she do an intervention for her friend, or will her friend find their way on their own? Her name, Martha, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Let's see what we got going on. Queen of Wands, you're reversed. And because it's reversed, your friend needs help. Whether it's an intervention, whether it's a talking to, whether it's prayer, whatever the help might be, I think you need to reach out and help your friend. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, Neil, my good friend Neil, what does the tarot have to say for me? Okay, let's give Neil a reading. He wants to know, what does the universe want him to know? Go ahead, put his name, Neil, N-E-I-L. The card you got, your interpretation. What does the universe want Neil to know today? The Four of Swords. Meditate, dude. Meditate. Rest. Don't overthink. It's going to be okay. Okay. Hey, Dee Dunkley, one of the best astrologers I've ever met. Should I consider having surgery during this particular time period with this particular doctor? Dee, I am sorry that the need for surgery has come up at all. Let's go ahead and see. What do you see for Dee? Go ahead and put her name. Dee, that's D-E-E. The name of the card you got and your answer. She's looking at surgery right now with a particular doctor. The Hierophant. Now, for me, the Hierophant is the card of the doctor, so I say yes. Absolutely. If it's necessary, go for it. I think it will be fine. Okay, Laura. Laura, nice to see you here. She wants to know, what are the energies of the group I'm working with, and why have they appeared now? Okay, if you would like to read for Laura, go ahead and put her name, Laura, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. What about the people that she's working with right now? The High Priestess reversed. I want to say be a little careful here, Laura. These may be people who are on a different energy wave than you are. It might be that you need to learn from them. It might be they need to learn from you. But be a little careful about what you share with them about yourself. Don't share your secrets. Okay. Hey, Cheryl Jefferson, nice to see you here. Hey, Karen Hendershot, my good friend from Pennsylvania. My mother's health is not good. I'm so sorry to hear that. She is seeing doctors. What is your read on her situation? Okay, anyone who'd like to pull a card for Karen? Put her name, Karen, the name of the card you received, and your thoughts here. What do we see about Karen's mom? The Tower reversed. It ain't good, but it ain't as bad as it could be. Okay, and I wish her all the best, as I know. Okay, so let's see. Here we go. Where are we here? Okay, I am just looking for questions, Okay, if I missed you, go ahead and give us your question again. I'm here with Kathy. Hi, Kathy. Nice to see you. I started a meetup but lost control of it because of the disruptive personality. After 2 years of this, I finally ended it. What could I have done differently to make it successful? What an interesting question. I wonder if it was a tarot meetup. But as one who has led many meetups, I understand the concept of a disruptive personality. So sorry to hear. What could you have done differently? If you would like to read for Kathy, go ahead and put her name, Kathy, the name of the card you got, and it was a tarot meetup, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. What could Kathy have done differently with this personality, with this meetup? 7 of Cups reversed. I would say you could have done less to entertain the person. You might have had to kick the person out of the meetup, quite frankly. Okay. Lots of readings going on. From TK, as of today, I have finished 2 years in Florida. What will happen in the next 2 years? What do you guys see for TK in his next 2 years? If you'd like to read for him, put his name, TK, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. What do you see here? Ace of Swords. I see you learning new things. I see you doing your best to be in your own integrity. I see you advancing your own agenda. I don't mean that in a bad way. Agenda sometimes sounds bad. I didn't mean it in a bad way. Okay. Lots of readings going on here. John McElroy, I see you? Did I answer your question? I'm not sure I got to your question. I am so sorry if I missed it. Go ahead and put it back in. We will make sure we get to it. Okay, Loretta. Hi, Christiana. I need to make a choice today. Moving in the morning, but no idea where I'm going. 2 options, Chicago or Missouri. Which is my better option? Chicago or Missouri? Okay, so if you'd like to read for Loretta, if I'm choosing between 2 things, I make it a 2-card reading. So we might need to break the 1-card rule for Loretta. I'm going to pull 1 card for each state. Maybe you can do the same. Let's see if we get consensus here. So go ahead, put her name, the name of the cards for each state, and which you prefer, if that's how you want to do it. Okay, so Chicago, Missouri. I don't love either of them. Chicago, Queen of Wands reversed. Missouri, 10 of Swords. Got to avoid that. You're going to Chicago. That's what I think. Let's see what other people think. Hey, Rosie Sanchez, first time here. Glad you're here. Okay. Jean Marie, what do I need to know about my career? Let's see. If you would like to read for Jean Marie, go ahead and put her name, Jean Marie. The name of the card you got, and your interpretation. What do I need to know about my career? Ace of Pentacles, you will have a new job or a raise soon. Okay. Lots of readings going on. Maya, my friend Maya. My question is, how should I move forward regarding my film project? If you would like to read for Maya, go ahead and put in her name, Maya, M-A-Y-A. The name of the card you got, And your interpretation. How should she move forward regarding her film project? Again, the Ace of Pentacles. You guys saw me shuffle. So I'm going to say it's about promoting it. I'm going to say it's about making it happen, making it a reality, and promoting it. It's a good thing. I think it will go well. Okay, Elizabeth. Okay, hi everyone. I would like to know what could be coming up for my husband and his career. Okay, and again, if I happen to skip by you, things are moving very quickly. Please don't be offended if I skip by you. If I did, just repost, repost, and I will get to you, and I do apologize. Okay. Okay, if you'd like to read for Elizabeth about her husband's career, go ahead, put the name of the card, her name first, Elizabeth, the name of the card, and your interpretation. What's coming up for Elizabeth's husband's career? I think it's going to be rough for a while. I think he's going to be dissatisfied with it, and he may need to think about what he needs to do to make a change. I'm sorry to say that. Okay. My friend Jan Brewington. Jan, is my love life going to improve soon? Now, here's two questions. She wants to know if the ex is going to keep trying to come into your life. Doesn't matter. You can't let him back. You know that. So the question is my love life going to improve? If you'd like to read for Jan, go ahead, put her name in, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. What do you see for Jan's love life? King of Pentacles reversed. Whether or not it's the ex or someone else, it looks like the same old stuff. You need to attract a new energy. Okay. Teaming. What do I need to know about my creative project with the library? If you would like to read for T, go ahead and put in her name. T, T-E-E, the name of the card, and your interpretation. Two of Pentacles. What you need to know is this is going to be busy. It's a really good thing. It's going to move you forward, but it's going to take a lot of time and energy. Go ahead and do it. Do what it takes. It will be good. Okay, for Angie. Wants to know if her love life with Tommy is improving. If you would like to read for Angie, go ahead and put her name, the name of the card, and your interpretation. What do we see here? The moon. Ooh, I think you need to be very careful. There are things here you do not know. Things here that are kind of mysterious. Listen to your intuition. What is your intuition telling you? Be careful. Okay, here, John. Sorry, I don't know. I think I missed you earlier. Although I think some other people did pick it up, so that's good. Make sure you scroll through and see. Do we see self-employment in Reiki Tarot coming for you? Let's see what we see for John McElroy. If you'd like to read for John, and I think some people already were, so awesome. The name, John, the cards you got, and your interpretation. Ace of Wands reversed. You've got the skill, you've got the talent, but there's something you're not doing that you need to do. It may be about promotion. It may be about believing in yourself, but you've really got to turn this energy around to make it happen. Go for it, but it's not going to be easy, and you have to look at why it's not easy and see what you can do to fix it. Okay, Irene wants insight from Spirit. If you'd like to read for Irene, go ahead and put her name. The name of the card you got, and your interpretation. What does Spirit want Irene to know? Justice reversed. Some things just aren't fair. Try to be fair with others anyway. Try to find balance in your life. Things will improve. Okay, let's see. For Billy, how long will it take us to settle into our new home and community? If you'd like to read for Billy, go ahead and put his name, the name of the card, and your interpretation. What do we see? Queen of Cups reversed. I'm wondering if you have a partner who's having a hard time with this, who maybe is feeling depressed or antisocial. I think that you have to really try to open up to this emotionally. I think it will take a little while. Be patient. and really try to find your community. Try to find the people that you can resonate with. It'll take a minute. Okay, Adina, my friend Adina, am I on the right path? I'm working my tail off 6 days a week, 2 jobs, 2 kids, single mama, but it feels like I'm drowning financially and in my household. Will all this work pay off? Is there a light in the next few months? If you would like to read for Adina, go ahead and put her name, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. What do you see for Adina? Page of Pentacles reversed. You know, this is tough. It really is tough. You may need to look at reworking something that you're doing, whether it's the jobs you're working, whether it's where you're living. I think you need to look at making some change. You're handling it. You're strong. Lord knows you're a strong person. And the thing is, with your 2 kids, one of them can be particularly difficult, and that makes it hard. So see what you can do to help that child. See what you can do to change the way you're doing things, and I think you'll get better results. Okay, we are coming to the end of our first portion. Now, I wanted to get to Knit Faster. Glad that you're here. My daughter is in her final year of circus arts training. Very good. Her ultimate goal is her job with Cirque du Soleil. Do you see this happening for her? What steps does she need to take to meet her goal? Knit Faster's actual name is Trisha. If you would like to read for Trisha, go ahead and put Trisha's name in. The name of the card you got, your interpretation. The Wheel of Fortune reversed. Okay, this is not an easy path. What she needs to know is it's not easy. If it were easy, everyone would do it. She needs to focus on her studies, focus on doing it, and be willing to work harder than she's ever worked before in her life. Okay, now let's see. We are coming to the end of our questions time, and then we're going to get into our workshop, but let's answer for Debbie. Debbie wants to know, will I meet a new love soon? If you'd like to read for Debbie, go ahead and put in Debbie's name, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Will there be a new love for Debbie anytime soon? The Hierophant, yes, and I actually think you're going to get married. Yes, it will happen. Believe it or not. Okay, I am just scrolling for any other questions. If you're still doing readings for people, go ahead and continue that. And very quickly, I am going to transition into our workshop portion. And lots of good readings going on, lots of thank yous. Let's just take care of my friend Kay. Kay wants to know, what does the universe have in store for her? If you'd like to read for Kay, go ahead and put in her name, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. What do you see for Kay? Kay, there is love all around you. That's what the universe wants you to know. If you're open to romantic love, that is actually a possibility, but one way or the other, you are loved by the people around you. Okay. At this point, go ahead. If you're still doing readings, go ahead and finish them. If you're receiving readings, go ahead and make sure that you are looking in the comment stream for your readings. Now, what we do here, and as I said, we try to do this pretty much every month. We try to spend the first half hour doing readings for each other, and then we get into some tarot study topics. And the way we get the tarot study topics is from the Global Tarot Circle Facebook group. If you're not in the Global Tarot Facebook group, all you have to do is ask to join. I'll let you in. And a day or two before our meeting, I come in and I ask, what does everyone want to talk about? And I collect some topics. And that's what we tend to talk about in the second half of our time together. Now, sometimes we do exercises, and you can share those exercises in Global Tarot Circle as well in the Global Tarot Circle group. Okay, so the first thing I noticed is we had not one but two people sort of talk about the state of the world. TK was very concerned about climate change and other things going on the planet. Celeste was concerned about people. And what did she say? Excuse me, she wanted to know why there is so much hatred, why there is so much difficult behavior. Are we too materialistic? Are we too wrapped up in ourselves? So these were two sort of similar questions. TK wondering about what's going on the planet in terms of, economic crisis or climate change. Celeste wanting to know about our changing attitudes and behaviors and what's going on. And so what I would like to ask you guys is, how do we use tarot to help us make sense of larger world events, societal trends, what's going on the planet? I know that it's easier in a way to use astrology for such a thing. And I know we've got Dee, my favorite astrologer here. Probably some of you are also astrologers. And I think it is easier to sort of look at those trends based on astrology. But what are your ideas? I'd love to hear your comments. What are your ideas for using tarot to make sense of global happenings? And while I wait for some of you to ring in on that, I'm going to say that I have a couple of things I like to do. Number one, I think, it is very easy for us to say that things are getting worse. And in some ways, things are. I mean, there are some worsening problems that we cannot deny. But for instance, with Celeste's question, what has happened to our people? So much hatred and disgusting behavior. And so what she is saying is there's actually more hatred and bad behavior now than ever before. And, I think whenever we ask a question of tarot that sort of makes an assumption, we have to look at, is this assumption true? I would say that, if you turn the clock back 500 years, when you ride into a new town, you would see people's heads on stakes surrounding the town. Maybe our behavior is better now than it was then. So it's hard to do readings around perception. To bring it into a more personal question, if someone asks of tarot, why does my boss hate me? The first question you want to ask is, how does my boss feel about me? So be careful going to the cards about assumptions. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, when we talk about world events, and we can say, the economy may certainly be worsening in some ways, or climate change. The climate may be becoming unpredictable or may be worsening. Their population absolutely is growing. There are certain things that absolutely are happening. How do we want to address those things with the cards? Can we ask questions like, what is the lesson here? Or what can I personally do to help? I would love to hear your thoughts on that. How do we address big issues with the cards? And, I think that when we talk about global catastrophe, I feel like, a lot of religions predict an end time, predict global catastrophe. I don't necessarily want to predict that with cards. So let's see what we see coming in here. Marion says, I don't think there is more badness. I think humans will always be humans. It's just now the information is more readily available and sensationalized by the media. Good call. David, Is there more hatred and evil feelings today, or has it always been here, just submerged, and now it feels brave enough to raise its ugly head? I agree. And I almost want to say that's a good thing, because then we can see it for what it is, and then we can address it. Now, other people may have other opinions, but I agree. Any thoughts about how to work tarot into that? How do we use tarot to address these things? The one thing I could say is for each of us. And TK says, well, there's less human touch and more machine touch. Okay. If you're wondering yourself about how to react to something, that's always where you can. Okay. We were just looking at Julie's comments. Here we go. Sorry about the freeze. We're back. Thank you for hanging in there. And let's see. Where was... global stuff. I look at it like if we took that attitude that we are all one, then what can I do for what can be done? Oh, that's perfect. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thanks for hanging out with that freeze. We've been having some tech issues. We'll work on getting it fixed for next month. I appreciate your hanging in there. Okay, let's see. Irene says, we can always look at patterns, comparing different input and outcomes at different times. T says, I pulled some cards for the Amazon fires. What do I need to know about that? That makes sense. Okay, let's see. And it's interesting, that we had that freeze just as we're talking about global difficulties. Billy, tarot reminds us that all things have three primary aspects: the beginning, the end, and our role within the universe to influence the outcome. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, let's get on to our next topic, which is about general readings. This came from Linda, who's here with us tonight. I usually use free-form 3-card readings for questions. Not sure if we've discussed it before, but the best spread for general readings. I know a lot make these up with position meanings for each area of the sitter's life, but what's your best go-to spread, not including the Celtic cross? And I will get to that. I want to see what David had to say about our last topic. David says, I know how to deal with broad issues using Reiki, but for tarot, I'm not sure. Can you use tarot to encourage change? Yes, yes, yes. Oh my gosh, you get a gold star for the day. Tarot magic, you guys, tarot magic. And yes, how can you, and I will get back to your question, Linda, but this is great, and it's a great teachable moment, and it's a great exercise. What we can always do is pull a card, not at random, but cognitively, for the energy that we want to hold for the planet. So let me ask you as an exercise, not pulled at random, but by your choice, what card would you choose to bring a positive energy into the planet? Like the star for healing, or justice for justice. And we can use this in our own lives if there's something you need in your life, but we can also do it for the planet. So yes, tarot magic for the planet is a thing. And let me throw that out to you for an exercise. You can put it here, or you can wait till we're done. TK says hermit for introspection. Yes. Linda was about to say the star. Marion says the empress. And we can carry this on later on in the Global Tarot Circle Facebook group. What card would you give to the planet? And when we do that, we are actually conferring the energy of that card to the planet. Amy, temperance. Good job. Good job. Okay. Back to, for T, the Ace of Wands, Julia, the Empress. Perfect. Okay. So back to the more mundane question of how to do general readings. And Linda said, not the Celtic cross. And I'm like, Linda, why not the Celtic cross? I always use my special 11-card Celtic cross spread for general readings. But the other one I would recommend is the astrology wheel, because it handles each department of life. If you're doing a general reading, even if you don't have time to interpret every card, if you put out a spread that handles each department of life, you can look right away. Even if you only have 5 minutes to do the reading, you can look and see what's most important. You can look and see where the energy is. And if you have like an hour to do it, you can interpret the whole thing. But if you don't, you can pull out the important pieces. That's how I handle a general reading. And I will say that after I do that, then I will dialogue with the cards to answer the questions that arise from that. So, anyone else have any thoughts on general readings? Do you do general readings? How do you do general readings? I prefer doing general readings because I feel like the questions get answered in those readings. So there's that. So love to hear your thoughts on that. And from Susan, we have a question about challenging clients and how they help us expand our compassion, understanding, and skills. The blessing of holding space for another human being, the honor of witnessing their journey through life, the trust that complete strangers bestow on us, and our responsibility to first do no harm. So, contemplate that. Dee says the astrology wheel is great for general readings. Absolutely. I absolutely agree. Any other thoughts about general readings? And let's respond to Susan's thought about dealing with challenging clients. David says, I love using your question in place of a general reading, and that is, what does the universe want me to know right now? Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is a great exercise too. At any time, that is a great reading to do for yourself, even with one card. What does the universe want me to know right now? And so if anyone would like to play with that as an exercise, and again, you can always do it in our Facebook group, but you can do it right now. What does the universe want me to know right now? The Five of Swords reversed. And that's funny because, of course, I'm bugged by technical issues, and swords can be about technical stuff. And for me, the Five of Swords reversed is about compromise, that sometimes you got to compromise with what is. Lynn says she loves the Celtic cross. I really do too. And now, again, I use my 11 card Celtic cross, which is a little different. I love this spread so much that I've included it in both my books. See, there's my shameless plug for my books. And I've also got a class on it up on Teachable in my Card and Craft Academy. So if you want to learn my special 11 card Celtic cross, you can. You know what else though? For a smaller general reading, the Seven Sisters. I'll just reel this one off for you real quick. It's also called the horseshoe spread or the rainbow spread. You do it in a rainbow, so the middle card is sort of at the top. It's an arc. Past, present, future, significator, the person you're reading for. A person or energy close to that person, a challenge or obstacle, a final outcome. Bang. There you go. Okay. There. Julie wants to know, can you show us? I can't show you. I don't have time to show you the 11 card Celtic cross, but that was my Seven Sisters. TK says I'm frozen again, but from my perspective, this time I'm not frozen. So we'll see what other people think there. Okay, let's go back to Susan's question about reading for other people. And my first question to you is, how many of you do? How many of you read professionally? How many of you read for other people? Okay, Suzanne, we're not doing readings at this point. We do those earlier, but if you want to do the exercise, you can pull a card yourself. What does the universe want you to know? And let us know what you got if anyone wants to do that exercise. Okay, Susan, you're a pro reader and you asked the question, so why don't you answer that question? Especially dealing with those challenging, with those challenging clients. And I love the idea that and what makes a challenging client? Is it a client that doesn't listen? Is it a client that is kind of rude and insulting? What is a challenging client? So let me put that out there for you. For those of you who are pro readers, let us know, are you a pro reader? And what makes a challenging client? For me, I think the most challenging client is the client who refuses to believe that their actions can in many cases dictate their future. And I think, what can be really hard too is if you're dealing with a client whose belief set is very different from your own. And that doesn't mean that your beliefs are better or more likely to be true than your clients'. But if you have a client who has a very specific belief set and it's very different from your own, I think that can be very hard. Linda says not pro, but have done a lot of charity events, so pro to a certain capacity. Yes, indeed. I've not had a challenging client doing charity events, though. And you know what? I run a lot of charity events. And I have to say, it is true that in the charity setting, people tend to be easier. Because we're all there to serve that purpose, and I think when people are coming to you in a more commercial way, they may be a little more challenging. I think that can happen. And Susan, this is smart. Never assume you know where a person is coming from. Avoid judgment. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That makes sense. So other thoughts. Let's see, from Adina, I'm constantly having friends coming, asking me, what feelings do I get? Or what is my sense, scrolling, what is my sense about their certain situations? How do I know or how can I confirm that I am accurate? I'm learning how to strengthen my gifts right now, but so unsure of myself, although I usually end up being correct. And here's what I'm going to say. Full-time professional reader for the past 25 years, you don't know. You cannot know. All you can do is say, this is what I'm getting. And, going back to what Susan said, first do no harm. If what you're getting is something that if you say it, you think it's going to do them harm, maybe don't say it. But if what you're saying is not harmful, I don't think we can ever know until we hear back from them that we were right or wrong. And I know there are times that I feel like so sure I'm 90% right, I'm 100% right, or I 100% feel it. Other times I'm like, it could be this, could be that. You learn to sort of take your own temperature. But I don't think that we should ever say that we know 100% that we are correct. Give the information anyway. And let them know, this is what I get. I may or may not be right. We're no different than meteorologists. We are no different than financial forecasters. We may or may not be right. And I think we have to own that space of uncertainty. The more comfortable we can be with that space of uncertainty, the better we're going to be. Does that make sense? Okay, so D is a pro reader. For me, it's someone who's very manipulative of the cards of your interpretation of those they are asking about. Oh my gosh, yes. David, I'm an occasional pro. My experience of challenging clients is one who is so closed I can't read them. Sometimes they sit there looking like a pouting child. I usually call it and don't ask for any money. I hear you. Here's a trick for dealing with that. I'll go to my cards and I'll do a reading for myself. What does this client need to hear from me? And look at the cards, and sometimes that will give me the thing that I can say to them that will cause them to open up. Sometimes. Okay. And Susan says so many people have trauma. I would say we all do. We are all operating from a place of trauma in one way or the other. From Lynn, I do occasional readings for others. I always ask what the universe wants them to know. The Celtic cross always brings out what they need. Yeah, absolutely. David, I build in some past info so they can confirm whether I'm on track or not. That is a very good technique. Very good thing to do. Okay, so we are coming to our last 5 minutes together. I'm happy to hear other people's comments about these things that we are talking about today. And in our final time, I'd like to do a couple of different things. Let's see, from Julia, absolutely, as the choices are the clients to carry out, their choices will again shift the sands of change. Well, okay, so as a final thing to talk about, let's talk about that. When we talk about future predictions, how much do you think is set? How much is up to the clients and up to what they do? How much is fixed? How much is mutable when it comes to future stuff? I would have to argue that some is and some isn't. There are some things coming like a freight train that you can't do anything about. And there are other things that I think we have a great deal of influence over. What do you guys think about that? Now, as well as answering that or speaking to any of the things that we've been speaking to, now is the time for shameless self-promotion. Share with us, please, your websites, your products, your blog posts, whatever you would like us to see. I will do my shameless self-promotion verbally. My website, christianagodet.com. I have new blog posts every week. I also do a newsletter that comes out every Wednesday. You can sign up for it from Medina. I usually say, this is what I'm feeling, but I'm not sure. Right. And they ask me what should I do? We talk about their first gut feeling and free will. I tell them what I feel, but that it's their choice and what feels best to them. I never ever tell them I know I'm right. They just confirm later. Adina, why aren't you doing readings professionally? You are talking about having financial issues. You were talking about struggling, working a bunch of jobs. That was spoken like a true professional. If you are not reading professionally now, I think you should be, and that might be the answer to your question. Just saying. From Marion, for me, it's not so much what is going to happen to us or the client, but more about how we handle it. Yes. D, I agree. Some things are like fate. Other things are more controllable. Absolutely. I agree. Okay, so back to shameless self-promotion. We do this once a month. I'm going to try to get my tech stuff together before next month. I may need to use a different program coming in. We'll try to figure it out. What else can I share? Let's see, from Julie Langdon Barrett, Facebook, A Clear Sign. She is a great reader, everybody. Go ahead, put your shameless self-promotion, and of course I will promote my books once again. And you know what? I am now selling tarot decks on my website and right here in my office. For those of you who are local, we're meeting at Panera this coming Sunday, 4 o'clock. I also have a couple of classes coming up in my office. If you're local, please do check that out. I thank you guys so much for being here. Again, go ahead and share your websites, share your information. We're here for another minute before we say good night. And I thank you all for being here. And I do want to remind you that our friends in the Bahamas are hurting. Let's do what we can to help them. And again, if you are not a member of the Global Tarot Circle group, please do join us. Thanks everyone for being here. Thanks for sharing readings. So glad that you have been here with us. And thank you for being here all around the globe. Really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.